Hi, I'm Addie Gerard. I work communications for the Voltaire team at IOG. And I'm excited to bring you this special Voltaire report coming out from recent events in Edinburgh, Scotland. As you all know, the last 6 months, we have had an enormous outpour of community workshops. Over 50 workshops across the globe, and over 1,000 participants have gathered together to talk about SIP 1694 and the advancement of participatory governance. First up, we're going to hear a little bit from Nigel Hemsley, the VP of Governance at IOG, and Charles.
I think today is our chance to make a little bit of history. So thank you for all your input. Thank you for all the work that you've done. And today we get a chance to review all those different points that you've raised, have a discussion about them, and hopefully reach some conclusions. So without further ado, I'll introduce Charles.
Welcome to Scotland. This is a very special place, University of Edinburgh. And it's pretty amazing how so many people were all united with a desire just to make Cardano better. You know, this is the most complicated thing that we've ever done as a community, because what we're doing is effectively building a government to unlock all the value that the ecosystem has accrued throughout the years. When we said, hey, we'd like some people to start working on governance as a community, and having over 1,000 people take time to sit in a room for a few days and talk about DREPs and constitutional committee and rights and these types of things, it's not exactly something you'd expect people would do. But not only did they do it, they showed up. And therein lies the magic of a decentralized ecosystem, is when you have this ability to call people all across the world, huge amount of diversity, to just show up and think and do. And every single thing we do in this ecosystem is about getting to a point where we have the ability to do more. The core of Cardano has always been about maximizing every person's voice and their freedom, and giving them a set of tools where they get to define what their own money is, to define what their own identity is, to define how the society around them should work and operate. And I hope that we can get everything done in just a few days and have a really successful closing, and also get 1694 implemented and turned on, and then we can look at this as one of the great moments in the history of Cardano. Hopefully many, many, many more to come in the ensuing decades. Cheers.
It was so great to hear from Nigel and Charles. How about we hear a little bit from the community itself? I know there was a lot of thoughts around what the Age of Voltaire means to them, what they hope for it, and what their hope is for minimum viable governance.
We definitely can't say that we're waiting till we have it perfect. It's not perfect. That's why we are aiming for minimum viable governance. Let's start somewhere. Let's take baby steps.
It's really nice to see all of the different workshops around the world reporting in and being able to talk to everybody who has been participating in these conversations. I don't know who said it, but all of us are way smarter than any one of us.
It's good to see that where there isn't a sort of clear emerging consensus on something to vote on in the Miro board, that the vote is being held off and the information that is being discussed is being captured for a future review until vote. On the votes that have been cast, the consensus has been pretty high, which is good to see.
Well, the Age of Voltaire feels very exciting. I really expect that this all kicks in, and actually the whole governance is being managed by the community in a proper setup and doing good stuff and good things on the blockchain. It's not perfect, and it's important that the people accept that it's not perfect so that we can get it started with and learn out of the experience by just running it.
It's really good to see the diversity in culture, but at the same time we're finding common ground and identifying common values, and I actually am quite optimistic for tomorrow because of this.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's something we need to do to get somewhere. We can't just sit back and keep drafting ideas and blueprints, on paper. We need to take the first step, and this MVG is that step. I believe that we will learn a lot from what we, take from this session and what we implement to make it better for the future.
Crypto to me doesn't represent, the ability to do money or dApps or anything like that. It really represents this trend shift from us giving our power to representatives towards us giving our power to protocols and to self-govern by an agreed upon set of rules. And so that's what really drew me into crypto, and Cardano's stance on that, in particular in the early days, and now kind of carrying through this workshop. And so for minimum viable governance, I am mostly interested in seeing that process come to life, making sure that we don't back ourselves into a corner, either from the perspective of now we can get nothing done because nothing can pass in governance, but also not, opening the barn doors open too wide and letting just anything happen to the chain, so that we have that continuity and that evolution where we can design the next better system.
I hope that through the MVG we can give as many people as possible a chance to learn how this system works. So in that regard, I'm okay with breaking things safely if it allows as many ADA holders as possible to understand how this system works and how in the long term we're going to refine it together to make it what it can be.
I just want to be able to see us be able to drive where we're going to go with the chain, to make decisions and actually see the network expand and grow. So it's having the capability of actually making those decisions and getting our community really involved in that as well.
The idea is to improve decentralization. If we fail altogether. If we success altogether. But I prefer to do it with values and conviction in what we are doing. So my most exciting part is how to be implemented.
I have a long-term hope for the space, and it fits into MVG in a way, because what I really want to see, I'm looking long-term. What I want to see is I want to see someone, a bureaucrat in a municipality somewhere someday that says, hey, I see this thing working, and it's working better than what I'm doing right now, so I want to adopt that into my space. And I think once that happens, it'll be a snowball effect, and there'll be more and more municipalities they'll take that chance on Cardano and use it to govern whatever it is that their body is.
わけですけども、いよいよ、このガバナンスのフェーズというものを実現することができる状況になってきたのかなと思います。この分散化をガバナンスを作っていくということは何で重要かと言いますとですね、やはりその世界的に使われる金融システム、あるいは社会システム、こういったものを構築していく上でさまざまな人の関与っていうのが必要になります。中央集権だと、強いリーダーが素早く決定して構築していくということで、素晴らしいスピード感を持って構築できるということはあるもののですね、ネガティブサイドとしてはそのリーダーが誤った舵を切ると違う方向に行ってしまうというようなデメリットもあるかなと思いますと。それがゆえにですね、既存の金融システムあるいは社会システムにおける歪みを解消するということに対して私たちはチャレンジをしていきたいと。
To see each other in person and celebrate this monumental moment. This is like 7 years in the making. We made it. Oh my goodness. It is the Voltaire era. We are moments away from on-chain governance and effective off-chain governance. It's been a long journey to even get to where we have been. We've had several different workshops, and this one was sort of the culmination of all that great work. It's sort of like the beginning or it's the end, but it's also the beginning of something actually very new. We've brought everybody here to gain alignment and consensus amongst the top level difficult governance ideas. And then the next stage is a ratification process in a couple of months to basically instantiate these decisions into reality. I think people here know that this is the first time, because blockchain enables this is the first time that we actually get a chance to do like applied governance in real life. The problem with a lot of governance systems, every governance system for any government, is that amending the governance structure is hard. It's not to say it's not going to be hard here, but because we're more innovative in the technology space. Blockchain is known to be so innovative. The fact we can actually codify these things and change it a lot faster and see those changes iterate. It's like agile governance.
I think what we've seen over the last 3 months is how hard governance is. I don't know about you and how it feels like we're debating today, it's difficult issues that it's hard to reach consensus on sometimes, but I think generally speaking, the community are moving towards this idea of minimum viable governance so that we can achieve something in 2023 with Voltaire and the SIP.
A lot of the participants, many of them fit within or experience democracy, but actually a lot of them, Latam, some in Asia, they don't fully have that experience, and actually their opinions come out a bit differently, and their need for the strategic direction of how we change things is slightly different. Their opinions are a bit more grounded, and I think in that respect, what the key themes that have come up are a real need for education, community tooling, things that bridge the gap between what is governance and executing governance.
Over the last 3 months, and today particularly, it's really technical stuff. It's difficult. The language is unfamiliar to a lot of people. There's acronyms all over the place. And we as a community have to work together to be able to distill those subjects, those complex issues, so they can move forward with easy accessibility and understanding.
We've had so many events, we've been working on this for so long. What is your hope for minimal viable governance?
I think my hope is that we have designed, with feedback from the community, a system that is safe, secure and sustainable for the future as a framework we build off on. And I think that's the key thing. You know, Voltaire is just the beginning. The SIP, the version 1 of the SIP as we see it today, is only the start. We just begin when we hard walk into that. And that's what's super exciting. I think we've got decades, if not longer, right, where this is just going to evolve into something that we could never imagine from today.
And I would also just say that what my hopes are for minimal viable governance is that we will have a lot of participation, that, as you said, the system is secure, and that we can continue to improve it, right? That it's not just, okay, now we have something and that's it for, I don't know, the next years, but it's really just the first iteration of I don't know, maybe hundreds or thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
The part about Voltaire that has me the most interested is any of these financial products or systems that I've used throughout my life, they just are whatever they are. And it's just, you use what you have. And I didn't have any say in how that's made, and I didn't have much say in what's my cut, or how that thing is used, or how it is audited. But now we have that ability. Now we can actually have a say in how our resources allocated. How is the network employed? And I think that's important, because that gives people ownership of the network. The thing that I liked the most was that representatives came from all over the world who held workshops all over the world, got the inputs from people, brought those inputs here, and had the opportunity to describe what they saw from their perspective to everybody else. And it didn't all rhyme, right? We got different perspectives where some people agreed or disagreed in some areas, other people agreed or disagreed in other areas. And I think we all learned something from that. And the consensus is hard.
I think one main takeaway that I have from this workshop so far is how strong the community is. So it's really nice to know that no matter what happens, I think the community is strong enough to bring everything back. What's very important for me personally is just to build the foundations in a way that we can iterate over, just to know that these are variables, nothing set in stone. So as long as we have a continuous process of improvement as a community, I'm hoping that we just, start somewhere and end in good results.
When we had our workshops in Toronto, again, that was very enlightening. We had about 10 people show up. We had a lot of different views, which I thought was, that would be the range. But then when you come here, you start to broaden that range, and now you see people from Africa, Middle East, and definitely you realize the world's a rather complicated place.
How can we all collaborate together to continue the ongoing growth and development of this really cool ecosystem that started a few years ago? You've got these people that are building things on it, and they want to they're passionate about it. They feel a real deep ownership interest in it and connection to it, and they want to play a role in taking it forward. And it was just so amazingly exciting to see all these people come together, raising their hands, saying, how can I help? I want to help. I want to do this. I want to build this. I'd like to be involved this way. I'd like to do this. Can I, add these features? And I just loved watching that excitement, watching all these people come together and thinking, wow, this blockchain is in really good hands. Look at all these people that are already, driving its destiny, and how they want to continue to step up and do more and more and more to make sure that this stays successful, and it's really one of the leading blockchain protocols around. I loved it.
There's something super amazing about seeing so many people from across the globe gather together and talk about the age of Voltaire and what MVG means to them. The next day was a Wallet and Tool Hackathon, where participants, again from across the globe, discussed what CIP 95 means to them. Let's hear a little bit about that now.
I'm Ryan Williams, I'm technical analyst over at Voltaire, and I've been working on some of the technical direction for tooling to support the Voltaire rollout and the emergence of governance in Cardano. I've authored CIP 95, which is a Wallet Connect API, so it extends CIP 30 to add functionality to support Voltaire, support people registering to be DREPs and people delegating to DREPs and these sorts of things. It's a really great opportunity to get both wallet and tool providers from the ecosystems together and to discuss the CIP, really mature the design, move it forward in the CIP process. So we really wanted to achieve some consensus around some open questions on the design, and I think we really achieved that and we really moved it forward. Additionally, as part of that, we moved forward some implementations, so some prototype implementations. So we had some wallets implement some code, hacking some code, taking some shortcuts, doing some things properly, these sorts of things, and yeah, it was a great time. With CIP 95 and Voltaire, wallet providers are really shifting to be infrastructure providers in the ecosystem, and they allow users to interact with the chain, to interact with Voltaire features and CIP 1694 interactions.
The possibilities of voting on different matters. It seems very practical, and I think it can allow community members to gather their followers, to engage their communities in a way. Those communities then can delegate their voting power to a particular person who can use it to make something good. So that sounds really nice. So me and my team, we are working to create an app that will demonstrate these possibilities of governance actions. So yes, basically I only went to show how it's coming along. And it's coming along really nicely. The progress is quite rapid, I must say. In the few weeks we've managed to do a lot, and in a few months I hope the rest of the world will be able to see the full picture.
At this point, the wallets are just a means for users to manage their funds and to do some staking, so it's a bit individual. But CIP 95 will unlock, and along with Voltaire, will unlock the possibility for wallets to become part of an active contributor to Cardano and to the future of it. And I think it's really wonderful that we're moving into the stage of Voltaire and having this method, CIP 95, to link the wallets to the world and to the ADA holders and empower them to shape the future of Cardano.
I'm learning so much, and it's great to be sort of in the room with the experts, learning about the details of how crypto wallets are built and the kinds of concerns they have about how crypto wallets will interface with dApps related to CIP 95 is really inspirational to hear that deep conversation.
Events like this really do show what a powerful and amazing and collaborative community there is in the Cardano ecosystem. Let's hear a few parting words from the attendees of these workshops.
Governance is, of course, what our political system currently is involved in. I'm well aware of how difficult at times that can be, but also how important it is for people to feel that they are represented and that their views can come across. It's a really interesting project, what Cardano are involved in, trying to provide sort of self-sovereign governance, in a sense, to individuals all over the world, being able to interact with each other in a secure fashion and have that freedom of interaction and freedom of speech is incredibly important. So yeah, this is a really important project to make sure succeeds, and this mode of governance that's being discussed here and how blockchains should be governed is an incredibly important thing for the world to get right.
Governance is hard. Everybody brings their own perspective and their own life experience to it. But like JFK said, we do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. So I'm just really proud of all the community, all the team from IOG and CF that are all getting out here and putting in the work so that we can make this a reality. And it's difficult, but I know it's going to be worth it in the long run.
We can get some really good results for the world, not only for Cardano, for the world.
Thank you so much for tuning into this Voltaire special. We'll be attending the Rare Evo event at the end of August next month. Hope to see you there.